Hey there, and welcome to yet another edition of CTOX by BrandKnew. As I always keep saying, one of the big advantages of being in this profession as a journalist or an editor is that we get a chance to interact up close and personal with serious thought leaders who, through their razor sharp focus, tenacity, resilience, have actually firmly entrenched themselves in the business firmament. And today we have an opportunity to interact with one such in full protein form. Lovely to meet you, Annu Gupta, CEO, International Business, Britannia. Welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you, Suresh. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
As I say, let's begin at the beginning. We all started small. We always had great memories. So we would like to know from you, Anu, how was your growing up years? What is your childhood like? What are those memories that actually stood out that you still carry today? And not as excess baggage, that's beautiful baggage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think very well said. It's what we are as a child, which ultimately transforms who we become when we grow up. So for me, in my childhood, I think the best part of growing up was being super productive, both in terms of studies. My dad was quite a disciplinarian in that way, as well as being very disciplined about physical exercise. And I used to play football regularly. It was a passion. To this day, I try to keep up with it, and very fond of sports very early on, from my childhood. That's something which has shaped my personality. It has also shaped my thought process. Another very big passion that I developed, perhaps because of my family influence again, was in music. Really very enthused about old Hindi film music, and I although I didn't learn any vocal instrument or any classical, but really like to hear music and to sing aloud, and to sing to my heart's content. That is something which really cherish. Also have tried to carry that through my adult life as well. As I grew and I entered engineering college, as you know, in those days there were only two things that somebody could have done: either become an engineer or become a doctor. So I became the former. So when I entered into engineering college, of course, the main goal was never to be an engineer. It was more about how much fun can we have when we find our newfound freedom from school to college. So had made a great bunch of friends there. Some friendships which have still last today, which really cherish, from my Delhi College of Engineering days. And another thing which really started affecting me, or started building me up, was philosophizing about life, and what really we are here doing, and what is it that how do we end up being here, and is there a, let's say, a reason to it, and what ultimately is going to happen to all of us, things like that. So I think these two three things, love for sports, love for music, and love for generally thinking deeper about who we are and why we are here. Yeah, but I guess these are the kind of things which I took into my adult life, and then I've been working for 26 years, and hope to work for as long as I can. These are the things that have really made me who I am today.
Wonderful. I think it's a beautiful trifecta, Anu. Sports, music, and philosophy. I think it's a potent combination.
Yeah,
It's a potent tripartite
I agree.
combination.
I agree.
You mentioned about your DEC days, Delhi College of Engineering, and you're also an alumni of your alma mater as I am. When you're studying,
That's right.
I mean, obviously, did you have some kind of a career path already envisaged or calibrated in your mind, that you're doing what you're doing currently? Are you able to relate to it, or is it a very seamless, natural thing that happened?
Yeah, so I guess education to me doesn't really teach us knowledge so much, because that knowledge we forget. if we are not using it in our day-to-day life, we forget. But what it teaches us, which we do not forget, is that it teaches us some ways of thinking, and it teaches us some concepts which remain with us forever. And then we apply those concepts to our day-to-day life, business situations, etc., etc. So I guess post my engineering, when I went to IIM Lucknow, I think that is when I started to realize, what is it that excites me, and what is it that really will make me, very passionate about my work. And that is where I decided to join a business role. And I started off with a great company, Asian Paints, which was a very good trainer for new management graduates. But what I have learned during the education years has always remained with me. I'm very happy that I was able to grasp onto those concepts then. They have held me in good stead, ever since. And the same concepts are even more applicable today. The same structured way of thinking that I developed then is also the need of the hour, to solve complex business problems today, is what I feel. So I don't think there has been any disjointedness, if you may. It has all been a very seamless way of learning and then applying during my work life.
So I think you're part of that contrarian tribe who's not subscribing to where is the knowledge that we lost in the learning.
Yeah. So I don't think I picked up too much knowledge during my learning in the first place. So didn't lose much as well. The knowledge that I picked up was, I would say, much more during my work years, as and when I grappled with real life, business situations.
Theory to practice.
Yeah, how I could apply the concepts, and how I could learn more, how I could get better at doing the same thing over and over again by applying, newer ways of, doing it. I would put it in that way.
So, amidst all the high pressures of top lines and bottom lines, how do you maintain your calm?
I don't think anybody can maintain their calm, during
When
the
they're
high.
doing their calm.
When they're doing their calm. That's a good one. So yeah, I mean, it's very normal to feel agitated. It's very normal to feel frustrated. It's very normal to feel impatient. It's very normal to feel angry. But as long as I know that, what is the reason why this, these emotions are coming, what is the reason why I'm getting agitated, what's the reason why I'm getting frustrated. As long as that is there in the back of my mind, I always know that I'm going to overcome it. I always have that innate belief that I can overcome this, because no matter how difficult a situation faces anybody, the person can, rise to the occasion. The human mind, as I have read somewhere, is only used to the extent of about 2%, or I think Albert Einstein probably used it about
5%.
5% or something, is what I've heard. So there is a enormous, how should I say, reservoir of
Hidden potential.
intelligence, potential, energy. I would also say godliness, to add to all this. That is amongst all of us. So as long as we just know it, we don't need to really like do something about it. Just the realization is enough, So, but yes, I mean, to answer your question straight, no, I don't stay calm. I feel frustrated, agitated, all the time.
So, do you have a set wellness routine in your daily life, and has it been since early years, or it keeps changing as you travel and as you grow? And I mean, do you follow any particular wellness mantra that's been your go-to?
Yeah, so I mean, thanks for asking that question, Richa. So wellness is something that means very different things to very different people, and I mean, just to clarify, we mean wellness of a body, we mean wellness of mind, we mean wellness of soul. Three types of wellness which I would define under wellness. The first and foremost is the wellness of body. And we were, when we were small kids, they used to tell us a healthy mind and a healthy body, like that. There were so many things
Health is wealth.
health and wealth, and things like that. So right from very early childhood, this thing was always ingrained in me that there has to be some sort of physical activity. There has to be some sort of a routine for staying healthy and feeling better. So as I said, I was quite active into sports, especially football, and that was almost a daily routine which I followed till I went to my college and I got this injury. Till then, it was almost a daily routine. Post getting into work, it hasn't been, I would be honest, hasn't been all that great. It has always had its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I do find some time for myself, mostly in the mornings, where I just do walking. I do some aerobics. I do some basic exercises, just to feel fresh and feel energized for the day. That has been my regular routine. Although I have not been, I must confess, very disciplined about my eating habits. Have been quite a foodie, to be honest with you. But however, in terms of my
Not
physical,
surprising, consider that you're in a company making cheese and cream.
yes, yeah,
The taste.
And cookies and
all sorts of sweet and savory, cookies. You're right, and we really have to hold ourselves back when we are in office. So, but that has never deterred me having a good lunch.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Yeah.
So there is a routine. There is a wellness routine which comprises of regular exercise and generally being healthy. Other thing that I have always tried to do, I'm not a very religious person as such, but I try to spend some time with myself. I try to just be aware of myself and my surroundings for some time in a day, that
Time.
yeah,
Have that me time.
that me time, sometimes in the office, sometimes in the evenings. There's no strict regimen for that. Sometimes in the flights, but I do try to do that. It kind of clears up the mind quite a bit, and gives a lot of reassurance that I have a far more potential than what I am currently utilizing. So it gives a lot of reassurance that yes, I'm the same guy, and I do have a lot more potential to explore.
So basically, for wellness, as you categorize into mind, body, soul, you're doing each activity for each parameter of wellness.
Yeah.
Consciously or unconsciously, you're doing it.
Broadly.
You're doing it. Yeah.
Broadly yes, and even when I am living my daily life, doing all the regular things that we all do, I try to I try not to get carried away by it too much, because at the end of the day, we are here for a limited time on this planet. We are here to do some roles that God has destined for us or scripted for us. It's really important that although an actor like Dilip Kumar or someone will want to get into their role, but they will never forget that they are an actor who is doing that role. At the end of the day. So as much as I would want to feel the role, I can never forget that I am not the role. I am just doing the role, right? So this, I think, is a very clear distinction that it's not that I consciously think about this, but it's always at the back of my
I'm
mind.
pretty aware.
Yeah,
of things.
I'm aware. I'm aware of this.
Aware.
Yeah. I would put it that way.
So, Richard, let's not forget, half the job is already done. When Annu Shasan, okay, he's already got half the name there. So the discipline comes naturally, I guess. And I love the fact that you are a very, very passionate football player. I was also once upon a time. A lot of sports, cricket, football, hockey, badminton, etc. Um, and taking a cue from that game, it's a game which is so much about team play, collaboration, feeding each
Absolutely.
other, backing each other.
Right.
What I would like to ask you, Anu, is that what have you actually learned from the game that you're using in your leadership style?
Right. No, that's a great question. I mean, it's so simple what these activities teach us, but it comes naturally. Then once you do that, it comes naturally. So as you rightly said, football has some unique traits which I haven't seen in other sports so far. That's why I'm a big fan. Teamwork, of course, is one of the big ones. Coordination, collaboration between players is a huge thing. Football is a much more a mind game than a skill and
Pure skill
power
game.
game. Pure skill, pure power. People may say that no, it's getting replaced by pure brawn, but I beg to disagree.
Right.
You look at any footballer of the year. I mean, they have that genius, they have that class. So how to outdo the other team, thinking wise. So it's one of the most intelligent games that one can have. And of course, physical ability, physical power, endurance, without which a business cannot survive. If the business is not doesn't have endurance, doesn't have physical strength to stand on its own feet, right? So a lot of these things we carry into the way we do business on a day-to-day basis. Collaboration, let's say, comes naturally. Teamwork and cross-functional discussions come naturally. We don't waste time sending innumerable emails back and forth, and playing tennis match
Ping
with
pong.
emails, ping pong with emails. We will rather pick up the phone, try to sort out the thing, and then maybe just send a concluding email saying, as discussed, this is what we are going to do, rather than wasting 20 people's time by marking all of them and just going back and forth. So this is one example. Other example is discipline. When the kickoff happens, if all the 22 are not on the ground, then you can't say that I came 2 minutes late, let me enter the game, although the game is two minutes started. So be on time. It comes naturally, but we don't have to tell ourselves today we have to reach office on time. We don't have to
part
tell
of the
ourselves.
DNA, no?
It's part of the DNA. So things like that. Then analysis at the end of every day. What went right, what could have went better, where did I lose it, what did I not do correctly. This is a daily routine which I have for I don't know since when, since forever. And all this is part of the game. Like in football, every minute is precious. If the opposition scores a goal and then, the clock is ticking. So always the thinking is, how can I outdo them?
Counter-attack.
How can I counterattack? How can I catch them, catch them unaware or something? And even in the halftime, that interval, whatever, that 15 minutes, is a very critical time to re-strategize, to take stock of the situation. So this is like akin to our mid-month reviews or mid-year reviews or whatever, where you take stock of the situation. And so it's a thorough game. And endurance, strength, power, etc. is very critical. If our brands are not strong, if our work ethics are not strong, if our people skills are not strong, then the business cannot sustain. So I would also say that I am fortunate to work for a company that has been around for 130 years. So it does know a little bit about endurance. So that helps. It helps to have a long term view. It helps to put things in perspective, and always have an approach of learning from mistakes. I mean, this is the other thing which football teaches us. Even if you are 2-0 down at halftime, you still can win the match. It's not over till it's over. So the same is in business. You may have a tough quarter, you may have a tough year, but as long as you have a long-term vision, as long as you are true to your objectives that you have set for yourself, and as long as you have trust in your strategy, or in your methodology, I think sticking to the plan is very important. Many times we see that due to a bad result, the shareholders become very impatient, and I've seen this in a lot in MNCs also, and they become impatient, and then the board becomes impatient, and then the management becomes impatient, and then the employees become impatient. I mean, impatience is good as long as it leads you to do something better. But if it just leads to frustration, and if you just try to change your strategy over and over again, repeatedly, that doesn't help.
That is not called strategy.
That is not called strategy in any case. So as long as we are sticking to that, and if there are bumps along the way, of course we can make minor modifications in the plan, but we don't. It's not that after half time I change half my team, the 11 which started, and then the 11 who are ending the match, some 9 players are different. It never happens. In good teams, they will stick to their with their players for the entire duration of the match. So it's there are a lot of, like, I would say, learnings that sport can we can take into our day-to-day lives. And this is not only, by the way, business related. This is also for our personal lives.
Absolutely.
Our relationship with our wife, daughter, father, mother. This same thing is
Applicable
translated or applicable there also. The way we come across, the way we approach life, the way we approach our neighbors, the way we approach our servants, everything is interrelated. And everything can be, you can always have some correlation between all these things.
Absolutely.
Hit a power packed answer. Okay. So, what are your ways of deriving positive energy from within with the power of discipline? In your previous answers, I feel that's a part of your DNA.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do you derive positive energy?
I 100% agree with you. Discipline is inbuilt. It's inbuilt. I don't know from when, but yeah, from very young age. And positive energy, I don't know from where I draw. To be again very honest answer, it's who I am. I don't know from where it came. I have no answer to that. There is no way I can be negative. I don't know how. So there's no. I don't know any logical way of.
Problem is only finished.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because if I'm negative, I can't live with myself. Automatically, my body will or mind will reject that state of being, and automatically I will go back into a positive zone. I don't know how to be negative. I mean, I can be critical. I can critique things. That is a different thing. I can never be negative that, oh God, the world is coming to an end, humanity is dying, what is going wrong with the world, like the typical, doomsayers. I cannot put myself in their shoes. I don't know how they do it. So I don't have any such. Of course, there's one thing which I would like to add here. I normally try to interact more with positive minded people. I normally try to avoid negative people, not because I feel anything wrong with them, because they are living their life, they know how they're living their life, but I am not able to connect easily with them. And I don't need somebody to say something to me to be able to figure out whether that bond will happen or not. It is automatic. So as a normal you can say thumb rule, I do not try to get sucked into too many conversations or debates with extremely negative views. Even if it's a very very negative debate, then maybe I'll be more silent, and if somebody pushes me to say, only then I might end up saying something. And most of the time I try to spend with people who I believe have a similar DNA, who I believe naturally have that chip, as you said, which looks at the brighter side of things. Maybe this is something which I can add. Yeah.
So, Annu, with your permission, I'm going to be combining two questions, and this is something that has been growing in the mind of late. and the more I think about it, it refuses to go out. I tried my best to hoover it, but it is not going out. So again, if you look at the default, most of the times you're asked this question: what did you achieve or accomplish lately? I want that narrative to be changed, and it becomes so natural to ask the question, hey, listen, how did you fail recently? Okay, because society is always about succeed, 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 succeed. I mean, there is no scope for failure. We've been placed on a pedestal of immortality, right? So, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this?
No, excellent question. I think thanks for bringing out this facet in the interview, because we have become almost intolerant to failures. But again, whatever we read in books used to say that from every failure comes out a success. You can't know success until you know failure. Those who have not failed will never succeed. In Hindi, in Urdu, in English, but these were books. These were something which we were like. This was theoretical knowledge. But in reality, in the last 26 years in my work career, and the nearly 25 years I'm married, personal life, I can like literally empathize with this, because success, what the way the world measures it, is only the outcome of so many things that are happening behind the scenes, which nobody knows. And like somebody gave me the example of a bamboo tree, that when you plant it for many years, you don't see anything coming out, and then suddenly, and then you're thinking, oh my god, gone, failure. Then suddenly it will come out, and in a few months it'll be as big as it's supposed to be.
Who had that quote? Sorry.
Yeah.
The future happens gradually, then all of a sudden.
Yes.
Right? Something very similar.
Absolutely. So what I mean to say is that when whatever the world calls failure, it's not failure. It's a series of experiments. And the more you do experimentation, and the more you know how things are not giving the desired results, it is only then when you can actually start predicting, the way in which things will give the desired results, the way you have to mix the ingredients, raw materials. It's just like a scientist, or just like a physicist, or anyone. They've spent countless hours and years of their life, and then by the time they're in their 60s, sometimes they will discover something, right? So success is nothing but a sigma of infinite number of what world calls failures. I don't call them failure. I call them small successes, because each of those is teaching the person who is trying it, something about how to do it better, what not to do, what to do more, what to do less. And the other point I would like to make here is that if that is not the case, and if success happens to you like by chance, let's say Kumar Gaurav in films, the first film Love Story hit, the way it goes up also comes down, because you then cannot handle it, you don't know what to do with it, and you cannot steer that very fast moving vehicle, where you have suddenly been.
Is such an example as well, right?
Yeah, Kambli, my goodness, absolutely right. It's one thing that God has given you an incredible talent, and there's another thing how you carry it off, how you leverage it, how you work on it, what are your ethics. So I guess failure, although you are right, in today's generally corporate world, when we live on quarter by quarter results, people are not that let's say patient with few quarters of not so great results. But the great companies, whatever I have seen so far, are those that stick with their strategies, their long term strategies, with conviction, and every bad quarter does not lead to a series of layoffs or mass layoffs, etc. They're not looking for excuses to lay off people. Because somebody told me that after every layoff, it takes about 3 years for the entire culture to return back to the pre-layoff time, because those that have left have left an indelible scar on those who remain. So every layoff sets you back in terms of culture by 3 years is what I read somewhere. So this is not the way to go about it. If things are not going right, and if you are at least understanding why they're not going right, and you are improvising, and you are steadfast in your approach, then one day the light will come out of the tunnel. A good example is Kohli. Now Kohli was being almost written off by some critics, for 2 years, or I don't know, 3 years. He hardly scored a century, but there was no let's say let up from his side in terms of his discipline, in terms of his
Self-belief.
effort,
Self-belief.
in terms of his self belief. I believe his wife also helped him a lot in those days when anybody can have self doubts, but finally, I mean, he shone through, and finally that the King Kohli that we all know was back to his normal game.
Absolutely.
So and had Kohli not seen the tough patch, maybe he wouldn't be so robust in his stroke play. Maybe his defense system would not have worked so well. So I think very rightly put. When did you fail last time? And then a corollary to the question should be, and what therefore did you learn out of it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I want to segue
Yeah.
into my next question, Anu. We are living in an ABCD world: artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud, data analytics, right? Okay. And somehow, do you think a very, very potent intrinsic weapon that we all have of something called the gut instinct is losing its pride of place? What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that as a technical person, as an engineer, I am really amazed to see the level of growth and success that technical guys are having in this field. I mean, literally, it's helping so many areas. Artificial intelligence is helping the way we live, is helping cure diseases that were incurable earlier or considered incurable earlier. It's helping us go into space. It's helping us do a lot of things, a lot of stuff done in a very short period of time with lesser resources, etc., etc. At the same time, I do believe that people are becoming more and more gadget dependent, and people are really becoming less and less comfortable using and applying themselves to solve problems. People are always thinking like me. For this is an example which fits me also. Suppose I get a data which is critical. What will I do? In the earlier time, I just used to fiddle around with it and try to make sense of it. Now I will think, who is my MIS guy? What is my software that my company has? Can somebody do it for me? And give it to me on a platter. But when that happens, I miss out on certain very important things which I stumble along the way if I were to analyze the whole data myself. I'm not saying that everybody can do everything themselves, but we are losing that confidence that we used to have before. Even today, I loathe using calculators for simple things. In our mind we do calculations, which I am finding young people today, it's not so easy. It doesn't come easy to them. Always need a calculator. Luckily our phones these days have inbuilt calculators, so people don't get embarrassed. But there is an over dependence on
Technology and
technology, which kind of for somebody to be successful as an entrepreneur, to be successful in business, what you rightly said, the gut, or whatever we can call it by any name, but a very, very well thought out future projection, which can be made by someone who has the experience and someone who is applying their mind to it. I don't think artificial intelligence will ever be able to eclipse the benefit that gives to the society in general. Because no matter whatever we may say, but this artificial intelligence is always programmed by humans, and human intelligence is always on top of the AI. Although people claim that they will become more intelligent than us, maybe they will in future, but in the near time to come, maybe a few decades, I don't see that need for people to apply themselves and think through the best solution with their own intelligence and experience. I don't think that need will go down. In fact, that need is going up, because there are lesser and lesser people who are doing that. And I'll give you a simple example. We work for large company. We work for a large company. Now, whenever we want to do any launch of any new product, nobody wants to just go with gut. So much so that the innovation, the ideas that go into the innovation funnel already are very constricted. Everybody wants to go through some very, very fancy quant research which costs crores of rupees. And to be very honest with you, Suresh, that 90% of new products, not only for this company where I work, for all large companies, 90% of new products do not work. And all of them have gone through tons and tons of quantitative research to back it up. But that ownership and that gut, I feel, is many a times it is missing in the top echelons of management, which kind of says that no, I know this will work, this will succeed, let's go after it. Which when the technology was not so much prevalent, maybe 2 or 3 decades back, this was how decisions were driven. It was, of course, more technology, more research should always aid. It's a good tool. It needs to be progressed. But as you rightly said, that personal gut-based thought process and solution-seeking behavior should not disappear. It should not be compromised in the garb of technology.
That's beautifully articulated, Anu. I think some classical examples would be the likes of Dhirubhai Ambani, Steve Jobs, Andy Grove, I think Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all of this. I mean, they were not waiting for market to tell them what to do. A lot of it is completely on gut. There is no quantitative research, as you mentioned, spending millions of dollars in trying to figure out. And no consumer is actually told that I wanted a touch phone, I wanted an Airbnb, I want a fax machine, I want a post-it note. No consumer is ever told. It is those organizations and leaders who've taken the moonshot and brought it out of the market. Then, oh my God, how did I live without a smartphone all these years? Okay, so beautifully put.
Absolutely. In fact, in marketing, we were taught when we were just students that a marketeer is one who actually creates a need, which nobody knows that they needed before.
Absolutely.
We call it latent and covert and overt needs.
Yeah. So in fact, recently I just did a small video about it. Actually, it's like the conventional default is that you launch a product or a service or a solution, then you go around looking for customers. Ideally speaking, you create products and solutions for a customer. Be counterintuitive, because, you need to turn the strategy on the head. This is the way I've always done it, is no longer working. It's obsolete.
So, talking about the gut, how do you maintain your gut health? Some secrets that, maintain.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't have a great digestive system, and I have to always constantly work on it. But certain things which I've always added to the food. This comes as part of the way I've grown up, dietary habits. So yogurt or curd, in all meals, having buttermilk, at least once or twice a day. Actually, someone was telling me that in our ancient literature, there's a mention that this buttermilk is like Amrit. It's like proverbial thing. It's a great drink to have a long life and to have a healthy life. So and in Sanskrit the word for buttermilk is chakim. So that's what I remember. So buttermilk. Then I try to I don't know whether it's gut health or general health, but I try to add a lot of lemon to my food, lemon water, etc. A couple of glasses at least. And normally I have all my water hot stroke lukewarm. I hardly remember a time when I drank cold water. Or so in our fridge we don't normally have water, but even from the tap I hardly remember, except when we are out, and there we'll obviously have water, whatever is available. But these are some general rules. But more importantly, I think the core is be aware about how our body reacts to various food and drinks, and to be able to draw a line, be mindful of what we are eating and how much we are eating. Not only what we are eating, but how much we are eating. And also the same for drinks, also the same for anything. So we should know our body tells us everything. Our body tells us when we are not feeling good. Our body tells us when we are feeling super good. So just listening to that rhythm is what I try to do, you know.
Do you also believe in the approach of living a medicine-free life amidst all the medicines that we are consuming on daily basis?
Yeah, absolutely. I think bang on. I mean, this is something which, when I was a small kid, my doctor in Delhi, we were growing up in Delhi. So this doctor was a very, very famous pediatrician in those days. And whenever, my dad used to take me to the clinic for some, cold, cough, something, fever, etc., etc., simple ailments, he never ever used to prescribe a medicine. And I always used to come out, very depressed, that why this guy, what kind of doctor he is, we are going, paying consulting fees.
Doctor means medicine.
Yeah, doctor is equal to medicine. And, it was later on in life that I realized that, those doctors who are not, aggressive, too much aggressive on medications, are all actually helping the patients. And there's always a self-correcting mechanism in the body, which whatever I have read, I'm not an expert in this, but whatever I have read and whatever limited understanding I have, body treats itself. And we just need to give our body a chance to, and the right environment for it to heal us.
To guts it out.
Yeah.
Pardon the
Yeah.
pun, yeah.
So I absolutely believe in this, what you just said. And most of the medicinal qualities do exist in our food and the beverages that we drink. Most of the nutrients and the medicinal things are already there in the natural food and drinks that we consume on a day-to-day basis. So as long as we are able to give our body time, as long as we are not impatient, to start running a marathon, as long as we are mindful, I think this really helps. And today what you asked, Richa, is very pertinent, because as I was mentioning earlier, the like medicines are becoming a bane today, and there is a serious risk of humanity being overdrugged and actually developing immunity against the antibiotics or the medicines that are there, which therefore will not work with that efficacy, and it gets passed on from one generation to the next. So there will be more resistance to the medicines coming in the future generations if we continue the unabated use of medicines in our day-to-day life. So absolutely agree with you. Yes.
Nice to know that you have an inbuilt concept of knowing that body heals itself, which is very important these days. If you're aware of this concept, half the things are solved automatically.
Absolutely. Just to add to that, Risha, Anu, somehow I think we, as whatever we are, I think we need to give this home remedies a new tag, because somehow it becomes like a gar ki murgi dal barabar, because it is called home remedies and hacks, but those are fantastic stuff, ginger, turmeric, what you call it, coriander, all the things that you can actually have at home without spending a bomb and breaking the
Absolutely.
bank are actually wonderful things, but we somehow don't seem to give it that kind of importance. And you want to give, you thousands of dirhams or rupees in medicine from a pharmacy, and then you feel that okay, I've done my bit. So yeah, just one question that I would want to ask Anu is. Again, very personal fascination is that, what are the kind of books and people that have inspired you as you grew up?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I've always been a fan of books, and I had the privilege of reading, a host of books on varied subjects. Used to be very passionate about history at some point of time. Read a lot of books on history, world history. I was very fond of literature, also passionate about reading the life stories or biographies of great people who have lived. Also read some nice autobiographies. So, for example, Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, was a big eye opener for me. It was still, I would rate it as one of the best books I've ever come across. Recently, not recently, but yeah, a few years ago, had the privilege of reading a couple of very nice books. One was Siddharth by Herman Hesse. Another book was The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Both of the books were very thought provoking, and really helped to firm up or give a big reassurance to to the way I used to think before. Were very reassuring. And I also had a good experience reading lots of business books, because I believe that by learning and reading about other people's lives and their struggles and how they became big is a great way to to gain knowledge, and also a great way to understand their mindset. So some great books like Malcolm Gladwell had some interesting books which I really liked.
Outliers.
Outliers, we all
Blink.
must have read. Blink, What the Dog Saw. There are several books by Gladwell. I really liked those. A couple of big books by Levitt, related to economics, related to
For economics?
Freakonomics, and the one after that, which came after that, was, I think it was Super Freakonomics or something like that.
Okay.
There were two books, really good, really nice. Then Taleb, Fooled by Randomness. All these are interesting books, and I, to be honest, wouldn't be able to name just one or two which really had a very profound impact, because I guess all these books had some impact or the other. They forced me to think, they forced me to introspect, they forced me to rethink, but always I feel reinvigorated and energized after I read something, because it's fodder for the mind, right? It's something that like it's exercise for the mind, like we exercise in the gym for our body. Reading books and knowing different things and different perspectives of different people is like an exercise of the mind.
And you're actually making an informed, educated decision of reading the book that you want, unlike a situation on social wherein you're conditioned by an algorithm that knows consuming this kind of content, and I subconsciously continue to consume that kind of content because that is the thing that is coming in my feeds. Right? When you actually pick up a physical book, okay, I'm going by choice and picking it up from,
Yeah.
just to add to that bit, before I let Richa ask her next bit and conclude, do you think you mentioned about history and passion for history and all that? I have a feeling that the STEM thing is overdone. The emphasis on science, technology, engineering, math
Right.
is overdone. Recently, they brought in A arts and made it STEAM, and very condescendingly, arts. Okay, you also fit in. I'll try and accommodate you.
Right.
But I felt that I think for a complete, he mentioned about humanity some time back, for far more holistic, collective responsibility, collective hope, collective relaxing, whatever you might want to call collective progress, most importantly. I feel understanding of culture, anthropology, history becomes a very, very vital component of what we as individuals should be actually seeking, not just be biased towards one dimension, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, bang on. I would 100% agree with this. In fact, most of the things that we see in our lives have been done in the past and redone in the past. So, if somebody just picks up history of just 300 years, everything would have occurred multiple times, which is occurring now.
They say, Nicholas only talks about in the book, right? We never seem to learn from history,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is why somebody said history repeats itself. Because people don't learn from it.
So, Anu, what are some hobbies that you engage in to de-stress, unwind, and to be more productive?
Right. Yeah. I think every one of us should have something that we feel passionate about. It's the best way to remain stress free. So first of all, to be honest, I love my work and I love what I do. So that feeling of stress never goes beyond a threshold. That's the first thing which I would also like to perhaps suggest to people that
Love what you do, do
love,
what you love.
yeah, love what you do what you love, because whatever you do outside of that will be a fraction of the time that you actually spend doing your job or your work. Unless you love that, it won't be so thrilling anymore, and even you'll have lesser interest in pursuing your passions, because the overall energy and overall morale will be down. So first thing is that. Having said that, what I really like to do now, after the surgery, I haven't started playing, but I used to play table tennis, and although I haven't played football in some time, but some kind of indoor cricket, these kind of games I used to play to feel happy. And luckily in our office there are some good sports fans like me, so sports enthusiasts, so we are happy doing that. If there's no partner, I can't play, then at least going for a long walk. At least in the winter months here, the summer months do get quite sultry. But yeah, in the winter months, going for long walks alone, sometimes with my wife if she's up to it, that also helps focus a lot better. And I think last but not the least is listening to the kind of music that I like to listen to, and humming along, and playing it out loud, and playing it as much as I want to. So I always hit the subscribe button whenever I like something on YouTube. So then the feed keeps coming for similar similar songs. So I guess that really helps me to de-stress. Yeah.
So, sports, music, and walks, long walks
Yes.
with your
As long as possible.
as long as possible.
Yeah.
All of them strike the right chords with him.
Yeah.
So you've been involved in high pressure jobs and at very senior levels in most part of your career. So what is your thought on, and especially living in Middle East, what is your thought on ageless body, timeless mind? Do you believe in, trying the new technologies that come up each day for all these things, or you are still believing in the ancient traditions that your grandmom did and the ancient home hacks, and everybody has some, secrets that they do to maintain these two things, especially at senior levels. So what is, I mean, which part do you believe?
So I guess it's a mix of both, because God gave us brain, so I mean we're supposed to use it. So whatever I like, I and it feels right to me, I embrace that. Whatever doesn't feel right to me, I don't. My nani used to say, "Suno sabki, karo apne man ki." So it's good to hear everyone. It's good to hear from everyone, whether it's my grandmom or whether it's the new age technology guys, whatever they say. It's good to learn and adapt to the good part of it, and as far as possible try to restrict what we don't feel very enthused about. So I have a healthy mix of both, is what I believe. Of course, the ancient traditions, as I think you and Suresh have both also mentioned in the past, are very solid. They have a solid foundation on which they were started, and there's a strong logic to it. So if we cut out the unwanted part and we stick to the core of those traditions, rituals, or whatever you call it, it's good. It really helps us. But we shouldn't become too dogmatic about it, is what I believe. We shouldn't become too staunch about it. We must do it with the logic that they were originally intended to serve. In terms of new technology, yes, I do feel very curious and inquisitive to understand what new things are coming in terms of what technology is giving us, whether it's social media platforms or whether it's the stuff that young people are doing and putting it out there on social platforms. I do try to keep myself abreast, and I'm frankly very amazed at the kind of innovative work that the young people are doing in various domains, whether it's food, whether I'm more keen on in my area, which is bakery and baking and dairy, etc. So really happy to see young people having so many creative ideas, and they're actually able to find a channel or a platform to show that to the world through technology, which earlier people didn't have the muscle power. Only the big companies used to have the money to. So technology has been a great leveler to that extent. It has helped bring out the creativity of people, and so yes, I do believe in that also. Yeah. So just keep an open mind, and and just see, just take what is coming to you, as this Devanand song I'm reminded of. मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया,
हम
हर धुएं को
फिक्र में उड़ाता चला गया.
हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया. Yeah. So that's the mantra broadly.
Very nice.
So we would conclude by getting into familiar territory, which is family. Okay, I'm sure, like most of us, family would be allies, strength, scaffolding, protection, sounding board, encouragement, motivation, character, all of that in both personal and professional lives. How do you kind of sum it all up, in your case with you and your family?
So very rightly put, Suresh. I think it's the big pebbles that should take the maximum space in the glass, in the proverbial case
Yes.
study that we've all read. So obviously they are the biggest pebbles, and after a certain point of time, everybody realizes that what is more important and what is not so important. And it's always prudent to not allow the prioritization to change, for us not to see too much into something which is trivial, and for us not to trivialize something which is too important. So of course the family, as for others, my family has also been always rock solid in terms of the un fettered love and support that they have shown,
Unqualified, as you say.
unqualified, and which hardly requires a tit for tat or a quid pro quo expectation.
You scratch my back. I
Yeah,
scratch yours.
it's not a corporatish thing. It's more like a real
Connection.
connection that we stand for. We stand with you, no matter what you do, where you end up, because we love you. So that kind of a thing always helps. Same is the case with me, and that has always remained my top priority. And it also helps to put things in perspective. It always helps to prioritize more important things. Also helps to de-stress, because we know that something we are getting too much stressed about is actually very trivial in the overall scheme of things. So that realization also helps us to just feel more relaxed. And my wife has obviously been highly supportive of me. We will be married 25 years this year. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So she's been sticking with me all this while. A big thank you for her, perseverance and
What's her name?
patience. Shikha. So she's been the branch of support, so to say, for me.
No gile shikwa. anything.
No, it's not Shiko, it's Shika. And both my daughters, they're
Both are
studying
overseas.
they're studying in Canada.
Bless them,
Yeah,
all the best. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's a great place to conclude family and a great place to begin. Mind you, Anu spoke both from the heart and the gut. So that's made the conversation so much more interesting, inspiring, and motivating. Thank you so much, Anu, for doing this for us.
It's my pleasure, Suresh. Thank you, Richa.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Really appreciate it.
Really.